There was this incredible outpouring of grief. It's like this human symphony. I'll never forget it. It'll be with me to my grave, the sound of that. That's all I can hear when I look at this picture. It was just awful.
In early 2003, photojournalist Philip Blenkinsop made a tragic discovery in the middle of the jungle, stumbling upon the CIA's long-abandoned secret army in the Xaizambun Special Zone of Laos.
We were the first white faces that these people had seen since they were abandoned by the Americans. They thought that those days of living in fear and being on the run had finished.
12,000 veteran fighters. Their women and children had been clashing with Laotian communist troops for the last 30 years. Now, they want out.
That all we want in Laos is peace, not war. As far as American manpower in Laos is concerned, there are none there at the present time on a combat basis.
Laos is the most intensely bombed country in the history of air war.
I honestly believe that we're trying to free people.
We came from the sky and destroyed everything they owned, everything they loved, everything they held dear.
In the 1960s and 1970s became the progenitor for warfare in the 21st century. You want to know how wars are going to be fought in the rest of the 21st century? Look back at Laos.
From 1960 to 1975, the CIA ran a clandestine sideshow to the Vietnam War in Laos. Long Cheng, a remote Laotian valley, became the agency's headquarters and the world's busiest airport, but was never marked on any map.
Long Cheng was a very secret base, and nobody knew about it. Nobody. Now, I don't even believe Congress knew about it at the time.
More than 400 flights a day took off from Long Cheng, and the secret war grew into the largest operation in CIA history. For nearly 20 years, the Lao People's Democratic Republic isolated itself from the outside world after the war. All these years, the mountainous country kept its secrets. Laos is the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia. Due to its strategic location, Laos was used as a pawn in the strategic games between neighboring states, and more recently, between world powers. More bombs were dropped on the Plain of Jars in northern Laos than anywhere else on Earth. Before the war, some 50,000 people lived here. Many of them were members of the Hmong people, an ethnic hill tribe. According to ancient local legend, these jars were created by a race of giants who used them to brew rice wine for the celebration of an arduous but victorious battle. Decampment. The trail of the secret war leads into the Xaizambun Special Zone. Inside the zone lies the former CIA airbase of Long Cheng. This is our destination.
We head now to Xaizambun, the special zone. Why they call special zone? Because it means like the government have to take care special because they have problems with the unorganized terrorism or robber attack the road, and also the government put a lot of armies around, many army camp, you know. I don't know them, but I know their boss.
Susat Petrasi is a well-connected man and will take us into Longcheng. No outsiders have managed to reach the secret base since the end of the war in 1975. We passed the checkpoint unsearched. In the area, the scars of war are visible everywhere. Cluster bomb casings are used to support houses. Entire villages are built from war scrap.
Now you're a famous guy. Soon you'll be on the
40 years ago, Fred Brandtman came to Laos as a humanitarian aid worker. Today, he returns to the place that changed his life forever, Tat Luang Pagoda.
When I pulled up to the pagoda, I would say I was just a kind of careless adventurer. No particular goal in life. I went into that pagoda, I talked to those people, and 1 hour later, I was a completely different person than the fellow who had entered the pagoda. And there were thousands of refugees just living like animals on the floor. And I walked up to the first one and we started talking, and he mentioned that he'd been bombed. I wouldn't have even thought to ask him. And I remember that I was in complete shock. Oh my God, I never heard of this, and I'm living in Laos. And I realized that no one else outside of Laos had heard of this. There had been secret bombing going on for 5 years that had killed thousands of people, driven whole populations under the ground, and no one even knew about it.